Lads, thanks very much for joining us here today, just before the game tonight.
That's a good start.
Great start from Kenny. Thanks very much for joining us, Kenny. I know you didn't really want it.
Looking forward to it all day.
So we just started off with, there was a bit of a debate last night about it just being a good season for Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand says if they win the Europa League, it'll be a very good season. Roy Keane seems to think it's a bit of an embarrassment for them. What do you think yourselves?
I think it's a good season in cup competitions for United, but it has been embarrassing in the league. Could finish in 6th place. That isn't good enough. They spent £150 million last summer on players, so that's a disappointment, isn't it? But cup competition's great for the fans. What do you think, Kenny?
But yeah, I thought it was I thought Conor was upstairs. I didn't realise Conor would come down on the sofa. I think you're right. Anytime you win a European competition, a trophy, you can't talk it down. So that will be an achievement. But in terms of the progression that they've made under Mourinho, I think there's still questions there. I think some Manchester United supporters won't be totally happy in terms of the improvement that's been made in terms of the quality of football which they've seen. But I suppose it's a step in the right direction. Champions League football again next season. So yeah, I don't think there'll be too many Manchester United supporters crying 2 trophies in the cabinet, but still work in progress for me.
What's the ex-Man City player going to say?
I don't think it's an embarrassment if they finish 6th, because I think that's the squad that they've got, and I think the club's been in decline for a couple of years, and this is the level that they're at. I think they've made.
They spent 150 million in the
so
summer.
many clubs have though.
Well, only Man City. Man City spent a little bit more.
How well have they spent it? How well have they spent it, Chris?
Clubs in terms of the Premier League.
Have they spent 90 million? Was it a good spend on Pogba? 90 million.
Well, no.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Might have spent, but if they of that 150 million, if they've misspent 90 million of it, well, then that maybe puts it in a little bit more perspective.
I think that's how far that squad is away from being a decent title challenging squad. Is they need to spend at least another 150 million, but on more than the 2 players or 3 players that they've just brought in this summer. Just
the fourth question in there is from Brian Kevin. He says a bit of the
Brian Kerr there for a minute.
That would have been interesting.
He's already having a commentary tonight. Just a quick, he says there's a bit of the debate about selfies at the moment, taking selfies after you're winning games. What's your thoughts on that?
He was taking selfies 10 years ago. He was taking selfies 10 years ago in the Birmingham dressing room. It was unbelievable.
Well, we know why Kenny wouldn't take a selfie. But not for me. Come on, you can't do that. You're there to play football. Concentrate on the game.
I'm not taking selfies on the pitch. No, the game's going on. The game's going on, Chris.
Arm and stretch.
So
No dinosaur.
The talk was, I think Real Madrid took one last night, Juventus the night before, to celebrate getting into the Champions League final. Should it be after the final, or is it okay to do it in the semi-final?
How many questions did you ask there? You blew me away there.
Let's answer the second one.
Look, easy for me to be critical of it, I suppose. We're of a slightly different generation. It doesn't sit altogether. I must admit, it doesn't sit right with me, but I can understand it. It's just things move on, technology moves on, the game moves on, life. It's a social thing. No. It's a social. It's sometimes not. It's a straightforward yes or no answer. It's simple. Emily, give us an opinion. No, I think you have to accept it. You have to accept it. Easy to talk it down. Like you don't want to be accused of being a miserable old kid. So no.
We just
no. What though?
Not for me. Even if I was playing today, personally, I wouldn't involve myself in it. It sits uncomfortably with it.
I don't think people would involve you.
You involve you. That's the whole thing of itself. You involve yourself.
Just in this one, as Owen Ryan is just asking here, Chris, apart from Kenny or Richard, who's the best defender you would have faced in your career?
Include us.
If you want to include them, you can include them.
It's not going to make it any harder if he includes us.
Tony Adams.
Oh, that's weak. That is weak.
He would be
third.
Standard. He would be third. First, second.
Second division.
And just a quick one.
That's weak.
Tony Adams.
Well, who?
Tony Adams.
Who's then?
Only because I've been in the paper the last week. Malaga. You know what I mean? Just jumped into his head.
And they just lads know, if we've been talking a bit about Zlatan this week and the goal bonus, what is he don't like about strikers getting the goal bonus?
Are you serious? It's a team game, isn't it? I mean, he's there to score goals anyway. I mean, you know, do you give defenders a clean sheet bonus, a goalkeeper a clean sheet bonus?
That's what you want to ask.
Let's keep it on the forwards. Let's keep it on the forwards.
But no, absolutely not. I think it could be a conflict of interest.
And have the lads ever had clean sheet bonus in the team? Is that
I
something
think
you
that's
do
much more. Much more. I can bring me tax information next time we come over if you want.
No problem at all. Mark Larkin wants to hear Kenny or Richard's thoughts on Everton next season.
Not Chris.
Not
Let's get
Chris.
that right from
Not
the
Chris.
start. He's got to be quiet. Nice. Sorry, what was the question?
Just on Everton next season and what they can hope to achieve.
Yeah, I think they're on an upward trajectory. I think they got the right manager in place. At one point, I thought, are they going to be able to keep him for the next 3 or 4 years? I think he's itching for a move to Barcelona. I think you can see that move happening. But the fact he came out publicly recently and said committed himself for the next 3-4 years is a good sign. So I think they have the right manager in place.
So you say they're on an upward trajectory?
Yeah.
Are they going to get in the top 6?
Well, if they keep going up, they will.
Hence
the upward trajectory.
They're not breaking the top 6.
I think that in the next, three to 5 years?
Next season.
Next season, well, possibly not. If I was a betting man, no, but over the
They're
next
not on
3
an
to
upward
5 years.
trajectory.
Well, yeah, but I think they could get there. I think potential is for them to get there. That's a big jump, Chris, isn't it? It's a big jump from where they are to break into that kind of top 5. I agree with you. But I think they have the potential to do it. They've got big money behind them now, big plans for the club. And for me, the right manager is absolutely key. You're talking about 150 million. If you misspend it on the wrong players, the recruitment's wrong. Doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you give the manager. I think this manager's got a good eye for a player. He's proved that at Southampton. And I think he can really push them on for the next couple of years.
I think the standard of player that they have to try and attract to go up in the league, they'd rather go to Arsenal or Tottenham or Liverpool or Man City or something like that. So it's going to be difficult for them, and I think it's going to cost them more than it will that top 6 to try.
I think you're right. I don't, but he can't go. He can't shop. He can't shop off the top
What do you think
shelf.
of the
No, he has
Barkley
to find
situation?
Barkley?
Yeah. The way he's been treated, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Is he loved?
I don't think he's that important. I think he's replaceable. I think the fact that he's English blows everything up. The hype goes up and all that stuff. But in terms of performances, he's just an average midfielder.
I think you're right. I don't
he's
think
replaceable.
Koeman's bowled over by him. I don't think Koeman buys into. He's a local lad. I've got to keep this integrate and build a team around him. I'm not too sure he totally trusts him.
How old is he? How old is he now? He's 23.
Koeman, about 48.
No, you're right. Do you know what I mean? He's been potential for too long now. He needs to do something. I think this was the season, but he's not.
I think if someone put stupid money on the table for him, Manchester City came in through maybe 40 million on the table, I think Koeman would take it and go and spend it.
But I think if City were to sign him, it's basically on the English quota thing. I don't think he's going to improve their team or anyone in that top 6 is side.
If we had a Nordish quota, we'd have been laughing.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you here, lads. It's just asking, after all the trouble Arsenal have had, will they get the top 4 in the end?
No.
Must we pay you for this? Is that it? Simple answers. Bloody hell. No. Just
No, I don't think they don't deserve it.
3 no's.
And this is probably one just for Chris. Patrick Roberts, how good has he been this season, and could he break into the Man City squad?
I don't think he will break into the Manchester City first team. I think he's been terrific this season. He actually hasn't played all season. He's been on the bench at times and come on. I would like to see him spend another year at Celtic. I think it would benefit Celtic. I think it would benefit him. I don't think he'll play regular football for Manchester City in the Premier League, but he has developed this season.
And one for the two lads, just Ronnie Devine asking, will Ireland qualify for Russia?
Oh, the hesitation tells you what Kelly thinks.
Hell of it.
I think they will. I think they're in a good position as it is. I think the manager has got them playing probably above themselves. I think when you look at the rankings and all that stuff, we probably weren't favourites to qualify, but we've got ourselves in a position that we can, and he tends to build a really good team spirit which pushes teams further than expected at times.
I'm not confident, I must admit. I'm hoping we're going to do it, but start of the group for me was a toss-up in terms of the top 4 teams in the group. Yes, we have got ourselves in a very good position and we have important home games to come, but I'm still a little bit uncomfortable. I could see us potentially leaking points, Serbia home, even Austria home. I don't think there are any kind of certainties. Probably wouldn't agree with Rich in terms of maybe the manager's got more out of players than we have in terms of getting the very most out of players. I actually think there's a little bit more to come. I agree in terms of spirit is good, is great amongst the players. We get a real shift out of players, but I'm not too sure. I'm really not. I think it's gone the last game away against Wales. look, if we won the group, it wouldn't surprise me. If we came third in the group, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to be that close.
Nothing would surprise you.
No, it wouldn't. I think the group is that close.
So that's no answer.
It is an answer. It is an answer. I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
It could be first,
I'm
second, or
I'm not
third.
confident. I think it's that close.
That's why he's a pundit.
That's my answer. That's my answer.
Moving on from that, we just have Chris McGowan here asking, will Liverpool ever win the Premier League, and could it be under Jurgen Klopp?
Ever? You're
We'll
going to put a
change it.
ceiling on that.
Next 4 years.
Next 4 years.
Yeah, but you made that question. You're not allowed
Chris
to ask
says forever.
Let's answer the four.
Kenny doesn't like the first
Next
question.
4 years. 4 years is fair. Next 5 years. Chris?
No, I don't think they will. It's an interesting summer, I think, for Liverpool, because he has earned the right to spend. I don't think their squad is strong enough. You know, you look at their bench most weeks; they don't have that strength on the bench. I hope Liverpool get in the top 4. Hope they cling on, and I hope they spend in the summer. I like Klopp, but I think there's a few question marks being asked about him now, so he has to spend.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need to improve. This was a good chance for them. We've seen what Chelsea done without European football, and Liverpool couldn't last the distance. They pushed them probably till Christmas, but then, like you say, the squad wasn't strong enough in the end, and they're scrapping now to try and stay in it. So if they do and they improve the squad, I don't know, I think the likes of United will be stronger next year. I think City will be stronger again next year.
And big demands on them again. If it do get Champions League, you can't underestimate what an advantage it is now. European football. Chelsea have had it, and Liverpool this season. I mean, Liverpool are hardly within touching distance of the top 2 this season. The demands of Champions League football again next season. Recruitment for me again key. It's particularly in those areas, centre half, centre midfield for me. Whatever money he has to spend, won't be in the league of the teams above him, but he has to spend the right. You've got to know the market. You've got to go to Germany, France, continental Europe, whatever, to get those rough diamonds. You have to earmark them and go and get them, and have to improve the team.
And just a couple to finish up. There's loads coming for Celtic. Chris saying, what have you made of the season? How good have they actually been?
Yeah, they've been all right this season. Brendan Rodgers has transformed the team this season. You know, I think people forget how far Celtic have come since the last manager. Champions League football was big. I didn't expect them to qualify for the Europa League, and it looks like they could go the season unbeaten domestically, which would be.
What do you mean by transform? In what respect?
Well, in what respect? I was there in Molde when Celtic were played off the pitch, twice by a Norwegian side, and the club was on a downhill spiral under the last manager, and Brendan has come in, and in such a short space of time, it was a surprise. Yes, he brought in Sinclair, brought in Dembele. You know, which was important, but
I think the Champions League campaign was a bit of a disappointment. I know
okay, is he mad? A bit of a disappointment. They shouldn't have gotten there, Kenny.
Well, they limped into the Champions League, didn't they? I remember the game over in Israel.
Well, Beersheva were rubbish according to everybody down south. But when they beat Southampton in the Europa League, Beersheva were brilliant. Unbelievable.
How did you think they put themselves in the Champions League?
I thought, they lost 7-0 to Barcelona, a thumping, a bit of an embarrassment, but the response against Manchester City, myself and Richard were there that night, was sensational.
I'll give you that one game. What about the
Manchester City away? That was another game.
Look
at the budget. Look at the budget Celtic have, Kenny. You know,
who they're playing against. What about the budget? Patrick Thistle and Clydebank. What about Stenhouse Muir? What about their budgets?
I don't know what Kenny's talking about now. He's going on. It's been a fantastic season. Kenny's obviously anti-Celtic. I don't know.
That's poor,
Kenny.
But it's been a great season in terms of the points between them and the team below them in the league.
Which team's that? He doesn't even follow the game up there.
Aberdeen.
Good.
Yeah, but it's the fact they've won it by 22 points. That doesn't necessarily mean
not so we pan Celtic for that, do we?
No, we don't.
I
think you have to look below the surface in terms of the quality of football, how well they're actually playing.
Well, yeah, but
the Champions League is a better barometer for me, how well they've played in that quality of competition.
Celtic had no right to qualify for the Champions League when they got beaten by Rangers in the semi-final last season.
Had they no right to beat Beersheva? Had they no right to beat Beersheva?
What do you mean had they no right?
Would you not expect them? That's what I'm saying. But you're saying they had no right to be in the Champions League. Why not?
Well, they did because of their performances last season. They lost the semi-final to Rangers. Rangers played them off the park. Albeit it went to penalties. Rangers were a bit. That's when Celtic.
I'm not talking about last season. This is Brendan Rodgers this season.
It has to come from last season, doesn't it, Kenny?
No, we're talking about we're judging Brendan Rodgers off the team this year, not last year.
If you want to judge him, he's got the club into the Champions League. performed well in a tough group. Barcelona, Man City. What hope did Celtic have against them? They performed well. It was about performances as much as anything.
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
domestically, they're unbeaten, and he's still moaning.
Perspective. I'm just getting a bit of perspective.
To just ask here, we have the game on the air spot back tomorrow night. Celtic are being you're up in Pataudry for that. You done an interview with Brendan Rodgers. Second, have a sneak preview of what that might be. Said it was very good.
Me talking to Brendan. So,
I can't believe you've got an interview.
it's,
To be fair, your reputation up there.
Well, do you know what? There's stuff in this. It's very watchable. What are you laughing at? Brendan was candid and honest and open. Talks about from the start of the season the success in the Champions League. Although Kenny doesn't deem it as success. Domestically, he speaks about Rangers. And is he going to be there for 10 in a row? You'll find out. It's a brilliant interview.
And just to wrap it all up here now tonight, lads, thanks very much. The producer's calling you here for upstairs. Will Manchester United qualify tonight?
Yeah.